Dominic, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. This is doing well. So having a wonderful day on this 6th March. 6th March 2025. You can tell we're not doing really well. It's been a while since I've made a video. Last time I made a video was possibly 2 days, 3 days ago. It was the 3rd March 2025, where we're celebrating 600 followers, which I'm extremely thankful for, of course. But we're not doing well, and I've been filming less and less, and here's comes the situation where I'm telling you why. I got 4 liters of water. I'm gonna get myself a little drink. No alcohol because doesn't solve shit. No other product because it doesn't solve shit. I've been gone because I've been questioning myself. What the heck is that? I've been questioning myself a lot lately. It all stemmed from the fact that this is gonna be a long video, and this is basically a rant. At the same time, I have to be honest with you guys. You're gonna see me watching the left and the right because we got both. We got 3 playthrough running out of the tower right now. We're part of a guild. Well, we're not part of a guild. We're leading a guild, so got to show the example at least a couple of days because people are gonna be looking at the leader to lead by example. Not only am I the leader, but I'm also... I don't even want to talk about it, fuck. It's not important, but 3 of my playthroughs are in the same guild. The number are 30. That's 10% of the guild is me, which is not gonna happen anywhere else. I was lucky enough to get 30 people, so I'm gonna maintain that because it's gonna be helpful for the playthrough, but more than that, it's gonna be good for the views. It's gonna be good for the the playthrough, the content creation thing aspect of it. So I about a week ago I told you guys how I felt. There was a fight with my father. Now I wanted to come back at it because as you can tell I'm not doing well. The most of the content that you saw was content that I was filmed before. Yeah, I'm talking about way before. Yeah, so we're not doing well. I don't even answer comments. Not because, and it sucks because I've been watching the comments and I'm getting a lot of positive comments, but out of the bunch I get a couple negative comments, and I think it's natural to focus on the negative, right? Like for example, one of the comments that I got, I made a video with myself, and people say, "Oh, you're smoking the wax pen," you know, and that person was a follower, was a viewer. Even I did a live ago, and don't worry, we're gonna talk about positive. But as right now, I want to tell you guys why I'm not making as much content. For example, I had a guy that used to come to every single live, right? And it's fine because it was more of a live watcher. And after a while, I stopped making live because there was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of negative emotion for no reason. A live, if it, a live TikTok live, we're gonna go really into deep. It's gonna be a long video. I already told you. I already warned you. A TikTok live is special, right? I'm Canadian, so TikTok will not pay me. TikTok will. I'll pay if we give gift. But I don't care about the money. However, when I make a video, I can put it on YouTube, right? I make a video, I put it on YouTube, I put it on TikTok. It has 2 platforms to grow. Grow equate to views, views equate to followers, follower equate to more visibility equate to more follower equate to possibly a job. This is my dream, and I want it to be a job. We're gonna get into that later on, but even then, and that guy didn't come to my life for a while, and it's okay. And it was more so an enjoyer of life. So he wouldn't comment or he wouldn't watch the video. He was only watching live, and that guy was one of my mods. That's just to show you guys how much this person kind of meant to me. And the first thing he says in months is the downfall of Ink, as if I had a falling off, you know. It's one thing when it's a stranger. It's another thing when It's somebody that's great, you know, that's close to you. I get so many positive comments, and I'm really thankful for that. And again, it killed me not to answer you guys because most of you guys are super, super supportive and friends. I know I shouldn't make friends on social media, but I do. And if I'm wrong, sue me. If I'm right, don't sue me. Whatever you want to do. And it's not because I'm seeing the comments, the positive comments, but I'm also seeing people that are clearly trying to use me for views and for growth, you know. And it's so weird. It's so weird because I'm such in the transitional moments of my life. It's gonna be a long video. I'm telling you guys, you're not gonna see how long this is. And again, I wanted to make it a positive video, but I think I think it's important to show you guys why I'm not here. It's important to talk about why I'm not here. At the beginning of 2025, I made the decision to focus a little bit more on my personal life because last year I focused on the work and I focused on making content, which is actually really good. I'm really happy we did, but I couldn't control myself and ended up being on a burnout and led it to a depression. I don't want that to happen on a yearly basis. And it's not because I'm surrounded by people that are fucking amazing. Um, little thing that are otherworldly. Those little things matters. For example, I've met a person, Jordan. I met her about 3 weeks ago. This video is gonna be touching a lot of subject. There's gonna be some positive subject. Don't worry. This is one of the positive one. Um, it's been so fucking fantastic. Cause Jordan, I met her about 3 weeks ago, and she's super sweet, and we were talking, and she said the joke, I'm gonna gatekeep you, but then I'm getting stranger that are coming to the live and being super kind and super supportive. I'm like, that's cool, but do I know you? And then I see one of the comments, and she doesn't. Jordan, she doesn't post a lot. She doesn't post a lot. She'll post like once a week, once every 2 weeks. And I actually went to comment because I didn't do a live with her. I didn't do a live at all. Um, and it's funny because you talk to those people on almost a weekly basis because you're live every single day of the week, right? And then you don't talk to them, and you're like, okay, well, I miss you, right? And I was watching the comments, and I saw a lot of people like, oh yeah, this person start being involved in my content not too long ago. That's where you come from. Okay, you come from Jordy, and again, that's what I love about Jordy. And I'm talking about Jordy, but if it's not the first time, I'm talking about the person on like Rim who came about a year this summer actually. And Rim she brought her friend. She was talking about me. She really helped me out, and she was like her friends were like, oh, I'm a friend of Rim. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But Rim never bragged about, hey, dude, I got you some viewers. Jordy never did. So I'm super, super thankful for that. Even today. And that's actually a really, really crazy part. I've had this friend, Mythical V, on Instagram for about a year. Fun thing about V is we actually met through Wattpad when I started making content. Then my account on Wattpad got deleted because I was writing pornographic material. I didn't know there was. I wasn't. I was writing, right. I didn't know there was a rule against that. So my story were deleted. I put all my eggs in the same basket. All my stories in the same book. That book got deleted. So because that book got deleted, I didn't do a backup because I trusted Wattpad. Long story short, I left Wattpad. So a lot of the people that I met on here, I lost touch with. And with V, I don't remember how it happened. We started talking again a year ago, right? And with V, it's very special. I fucking love V because V is a little shit. V is a little shit. And I say that with love. I say that with a lot of love. She's gonna be calling me names. She's gonna be teasing me. She's gonna be annoying, you know. But I could let you guys know I was supposed to have a sister, and it's weird because when I talk to V, I'm like, okay, well, having a sister, that's what it would be like. So I can enjoy V. Doesn't matter what she says. And then we were talking about because she played again. We're going with the stories. We're talking about this side tangent, right? Which is shout out to Obscure Gravity because he talked to me about that. And she was playing with South Park lately, and we started talking because we didn't really stop talking. But again, she lives in another country. The time zone is different, right? And and she was playing South Park, and I was like, "Yo, how do you like the game?" And I was like, "You're fucking obsessed with the game." She's like, "No, it's my first time." Because she was playing Stick of Truth, and she never played Stick of Truth, but she played Fracture But Whole. Um, More than 20 type. She's obsessed with that game. Like, oh, that's cool. So we started talking about that, and of course, I started teasing. I started pushing her around. She pushed back, and she did a. I'm gonna show you. I'll do another video for it, but I'm gonna show you. I'll make a video for that, but for now, see, just to annoy me. But this is my first fan art, and I even told her it's my first fan art. I guess you could say I'm a fan, you know. I was like, yo, dude. So, um, so the first one, she called me a loser, and I'm like, fuck you, suck my dick. And then she redid the same drawing, but she said suck my dick instead. And I told her, you're adorable. See, wanna know something? Don't freak out. This is my first fan drawing. And she was like, yeah, sure. I swear, a fan drawing. She didn't believe me that was my first one, and I was like, what was your first fan art? I guess you could say I'm a fan. Well, how was your first fan art? See, it is super. It's so super sweet, and it's crazy because we had, and I'm extremely lucky. Although I got a lot of hates. I'm extremely lucky because like the very first person, I had a fucking stranger. Um, I had a fucking stranger, and again, I know I told this story before, but this is a moment like that really means something to me. And again, please don't think that you have to do something for me to like you. I'm just giving out example, right? I had this person, this fucking stranger, go on Instagram and DM me. It's like, hey, I made a song for you. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know you, right? And I'm thinking that this is a guy that wants to, I don't know, he wants to promote his music. So, for example, for example, you'll have a only fan girl that'll say, "Hey, I took those pics for you," but she'll tell the same thing to a 10 dude, and like, "Oh wow, thank you so much," but it's not true. So this person said, "Hey, I wrote you a song," and and I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure," and I listened to the song, and he's talking about the content, and I'm like, "Wow, it's really a song." And then I said, "Wow, this is I'm so thankful for you." And I'm like, "Bro, this means so much to me. This is my first. This is the very first. So it's another fucking story. But I grew up watching people like Make Jagger Nuggets and Kid Behind the Camera and old school YouTuber where they had PO boxes where they would open fan art or fan or fan letters, right? And I've been watching a lot of GMM lately, and there's also that. And I was like, okay. And then I made a video about it, and there's this dude on TikTok. I don't remember your name. I'm so sorry, dude. It was a long time ago, though. It was more than 10, 12 months ago. And I wrote a song, and a person that I knew from TikTok that we've talked before was like, hey, I'm happy that you like this song. It was me. And I realized that I never asked who it was. Because I told the guy, hey, do you want to shout out? Because I really like this song. It's my first song. What can I do for you? Because I felt I wouldn't say indebted, but I would say grateful. And I was like, holy shit, wow. And you know, when that guy was like, no, I don't want anything. I just did it because I care about you, you know. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun, you know. It's a lot of fun. And even Akeem, which the dude I never fucking talked to before. And Akeem, and not to be a dick, but I didn't know who he was. And he comes in and I'm like, oh, I saw you. But the way Akeem said that, and again, I think he was joking though. But the way he said it, he was like Akeem George on TikTok, super nice dude. He's like, oh, I saw you at this address yesterday. Like, holy shit, I was there, right? I was there. How did you know? And then the first time he talked about that, it sounded kind of creepy. I don't think he was being creepy. I think the fact that somebody saw me in real life was creepy. And then we started talking, and Akeem is such a nice guy, such a sweetheart. Dude is fucking 6'2", fucking beef, but he's super nice, right? And I'm like, well, in the first person, it's a good experience, right? Or even last week when I had 600. I love women. Okay, I love women. You can tell I love women. First of all, I'm single. Second of all, there's nothing wrong with liking women, right? I hope so. So what did end up happening? I was at 598, and I was like, oh, I have this. I have this. I mean, I look a lot of video about it, but I have this desire to not necessarily control, but to know who it is, because those numbers mean something to me. So, for example, 100 followers, I remember who it is. 200 followers, I remember who it is. 300, I don't remember, because again, I was so focused on making content, and now we're at 600, and I was like at 598, and I'm like, if I go to sleep and I go back and I come back up and it's 601, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And today we're 605, so it goes fast. But I texted two people, and again, I'm being completely honest. I texted Sherib on Instagram, which is Chelsea Blake on TikTok, and I texted Gothic Bunny. I don't think she makes content. And it's funny because with Chelsea, she's like, holy shit, I want to be the 600. She's like, dude, this is me. This is fucking me. And we were talking, and I felt bad because I was like, I'm asking her a favor, but didn't even ask her how you doing. Um, so I text her, and she answered like right away, and she's like, fuck how I'm doing. Tell me your user. That way I'm the 600. And then I asked Gothic, and it was funny because with Chelsea it felt more like a competition. It's like, no, this is my fucking spot. Which with Bodek, she was just like, hey, I'll be honored if I feel honored that you're asking me that. And I'm like, wow, this is so fucking, this means so much, you know. And so yeah, so these are really good moments, but then they're surrounded with a lot of negativity. For example, like, and I hate that we have to do that, but in life, what is gray is really rare. It's mostly positive, negative. So those are the positive thing, and it makes me happy, and those are a little gem. And I keep on mentioning the time where I'm watching the picture, and the picture in itself on this phone, but I took pictures of every single video that I ever, the thumbnail of every single video I ever made last year. So I've around 600 photos, and I was watching them and like, oh yeah, I remember this. There's a bunch of them that I was really missing out, and I was missing out how I felt doing them. Um, but at that time I was so hungry, and now I was so hungry by making content, and now I'm not as hungry anymore to make content because there's multiple reasons as to why I'm not hungry. I think the pain I inflicted myself last year is a big part of why I'm not as hungry, but I think I'm not as hungry to make video or to make content anymore for a very simple reason. See, see, I think life. You can pick example. Oh, we got a two mission. Oh, by the way, the guild is going well. Everybody partake today, so I'm super happy. This is the second day of the guild, so everybody partaked, which is fucking phenomenal. I didn't think that people were gonna partake as much as they did. So the way it works is the more mission you do, the more you contribute to the guild. The more you contribute to the guild, the more everybody is happy. The more everybody is happy. The better it is, right? So to come back, I think life will teach you lesson. Life will teach you lesson that you didn't ask for, and life will teach you a lot of lesson that you won't initially understand. So one of the lessons that it taught me is my problem with food, which is directly a problem that you're gonna see with content. And again, we're talking about it's very psychological. And again, I'm not a shrink. I don't have training in being a shrink. This is my perception. If it's fact or non-factual, I don't give a fuck. This is how I feel. So with food, what I was taught was with my dad. My dad was always saying, "Hey, don't don't um, don't eat sugar because you got ADHD." And then wouldn't listen. So the first thing he did was to hide the sugar. And the worst thing is there was some sugar in the house. It wasn't like, oh, let's be respectful of the son that we have, the one son that we have, the one kid that we have, and not put sugar in the house and be mindful or at least supportive. And I'm gonna sound like I'm hateful. I'm gonna sound like I'm vindictive, which I'm not. But my stepmom, she wanted to do a diet, and right away when she said I want to do a diet, there was no food, there was no junk food in the house, right? And I was like, I got ADHD, then I had the sugar, but and as a kid I was like, fuck it, I want something, I'm gonna get sugar, and it wasn't. See, there's a difference between I'm not allowed to. Okay, there's a difference between I'm not allowed to have sugar or I'm not able to get sugar. It's very different. So allowed was a rule. Able was like if. So the rule was super simple. My parents would go out for work, right? In the summer. In the summer, I would go to the house to find some sweetness. I remember finding this box of chocolate. I remember, and it was a box of chocolate, really, really good chocolate. I don't remember the brand. I was possibly 8 or 9, and every single day I would start my day with one chocolate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it wasn't the fact that I wasn't allowed to. I was not able because they would hide it. So it was close enough for me to be able to get it. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to put a rule like, hey, there's no smoking in my house, it's like a father or a mom that smokes cigarettes and tell their kids don't smoke. No, no, no. If you don't want me to smoke, you don't smoke either, right? That was the kind of the rule. But I remember also feeling very bad for my dad. I remember, and again, this has and everything to do with the lack of content lately. This video is why we're not making content a lot anymore. For the moment being, I'm gonna make videos. Maybe next week, maybe next month. I don't know. I hope so. And my father, I remember. Poor man. My father is a good person. He's just not good with word. He's just not good at expressing himself. A lot of rage. And I remember him being in my room because my room was where they had the pantry. And I remember him sitting on my bed and eating chips because remember with my stepmom, she was doing a diet, so no chips allowed. And I remember him being hiding in his own home eating chips. I remember a lot later on, I don't remember what I was doing, but I went down and my father was eating chocolate, and he hid the chocolate, not to share, you know. And in my mind, it wasn't hurtful that he wouldn't share with me. And this is more personal than anything. I wasn't pissed that he wasn't share with me. I felt sad. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna take your chocolate. When I eat chocolate, eat your chocolate. Please share, but if you want to eat it alone, it's okay. You know. So yeah, so that was really weird growing up. And I had my mom. My mom, God bless her heart. But my mom also, and I love my mom. I will never talk badly about my mom because I love her. People think, okay, so you're gonna talk about that today too. My father, my mom. There's a lot to talk about. But people think I'm a dad's boy, and I'm 100% a dad's boy. My father taught me a lot about life. The way I'm acting is more so my father. The way I'm thinking is more so my father. But at the core, if you look at the foundation of who I am, I'm a mama's boy. I'm a mama's boy. I'm so respectful towards women. I love my mom so much. I love my mom. See, the difference between my relationship with my mom and dad. My dad is more so a relationship of respect, right? It's more so kind of like a friendship. My mom is more so like you're the mom and I love you, you know. And I love my mom. But my mom, how could I say that? My mom would give me everything that I want, which is great. However, my mom would also create this craving for junk food. So it's like and again, I'm not trying to be hurtful or an asshole or passing judgment, but you take a junkie, you take an alcoholic. You take an alcoholic and you're like, hey, every 2 weeks I'm gonna give you a weekend where you can drink whatever you want. He never gonna cure himself. So the junk food was creating a need, a craving for that junk food. It wasn't I forgot what it tastes like. No, I have to wait 10 more days. And it wouldn't work like that. I remember it being so bad, it being so bad, my stepmom was going to work, and she left and she forgot her keys. As soon as she left, I went right away to get the Nutella. I couldn't wait anymore. And she come back and she saw me with Nutella. She's like, "You couldn't wait until the car was done." I'm like, you see, the complete addict, you know. And why is that important is because with content, that's what it was. It's like with my mom, the first year when my father kicked me out, I was 18. My mom picked me up and she was like, "You can eat whatever the fuck you want." In 1 year, I gained 80 plus pounds. I gained 80 plus pounds because I was able to eat whatever the fuck I wanted. And after that, my father picked me back up. And after that, I was so focused on losing weight because I couldn't get a job because I was so fat, right? Um, I lost the weight. And then my mom kicked me out. Went back to my father's. My father was a blessing because I knew I couldn't eat what I wanted. So I'm like, okay, well, let's lose the weight. And then my father he picked me up and I lost the weight. And then when I went to the apartment, of course I ate junk food. I ate junk food like a madman. Then what happened was I didn't have a job, so the reason why I couldn't have junk food was because I didn't have the cash to have junk food, right? Come back to the content. This is exactly what happened. Um, I wasn't able to film. Life is so fucking crazy when you think about it. When I started making content, I was working, right? Because I was working, I wasn't able to film. Because I wasn't able to film, I had a restriction. So then, when I lost my job in March, last March, I guess that's how you say it, March 2024, I guess. My apologies. And when I lost the job, I became crazy with making content. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. My apologies. There was no limitation until the fact that I got destroyed. Um I got I got um depressed. I got burned out, and there was no stopping me. And then you start making content and you're afraid of it for 2025. I was like, okay, well, I want to take more place in me. I want to take more space. Um, I want to discover myself, and there's definitely a link between Ink and Steph, which is my real name. But um, during the last 4 years, because it'll be 4 years and 2 months that I'm making content, I definitely grown, right? But all of that growth was attributed to Ink Vendetta, which is my handle online, right? And all that growth, I think it's more so who I am. Um, it's such a weird. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but when I look at it, it's very very hard. And again, you guys think I'm making fucking side tangent? No, I'm not. It all makes sense. It's so fucking hard to see me as Ink Vendetta. I know I am. I know what I'm filming and I'm posting, and I know when people talk to me, they're talking to Ink. But when I look at myself in the mirror, there's this almost dissociation versus Steph, because I'm like, when the camera is on, and again, you're gonna hate me for that, but that's all. It's all kind of planned. The Don't Blink It's Your Boy Ink is the intro, and you guys love the intro, but the Don't Blink It's Your Boy Ink is a clapper. It's when you start a movie, you have this one person that takes a clapper and it will do like this schlack, right? And this is action, and you have this click, and that click is you get into the characters, right? So I know when I'm doing this intro, I'm Ink, right? But when I close the camera, I'm able to come back to Steph, right? And all of that growth that I had during the 4 last years, you see, the 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 love I'm getting, the song, the person meeting me, the fan art, it's amazing. But I'm stuck asking myself if Steph could have made it like that, and I don't think that I would have been able to, right? But then again, Ink Vendetta is, but how do you say that's just another version of me, right? is the exact same thing, with another version in the fact that it's more loud. So if you guys like Ink Vendetta, you like me because we're the same person, right? But then, and it's so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird because it's so weird. It's so fucking weird. I was having this talk last week and with Grayson, which is Epic Gamer Moment 2022. Fucking cool girl, by the way. And I was talking about with her, and we were talking about Shameless because Shameless was leaving Netflix, and I was talking about Shameless, and I was talking about Lip Gallagher, which is played by Jeremy White Allen, and she has a crush on the dude. Um, so, and I'm like, Shameless handed, how do you feel about him being Carmine? And she's like, yeah, I like Carmine, I like the bear. And I'm like, are you able to see him as Carmine, or are you able to see him as Lip? Just like, yeah, I'm able to see it as Carmine, and I'm not able to. I always see him as Lip. I know that Shameless is done, but I'll always see him as Lip, right? Or Fiona, or even, and it's kind of funny because it's the George Costanza parable. So George Costanza was played by by a person called George Alexander, and George Costanza was an actor. So see, it's kind of crazy because we got Seinfeld, which is actually kind of important. I wasn't gonna plan on talking about it. Let's talk about it. Seinfeld is picture perfect what it is. So what we saw, and again, we're going on side tangent. We're going more so intellectual. It's all gonna make sense, I promise, somewhat. So with last year or the year before, what we saw is a lot of YouTuber taking their retirements, right? And we saw that as weird. Now we're seeing we're seeing and again, I'm trying to be respectful. We're seeing people that are having these career. One of the greatest movies that I saw lately was The Substance, and it was with Demi Moore. And Demi Moore, this is picture perfect what we had. So with a show like Seinfeld, it was a sitcom, right? So when I see The Office, when I see Shameless, right? It's a bit too recent and recent memories to be different. But with people like Jerry Seinfeld, with George Costanza, with the dude who play Kramer, the dude Julia Louis Dreyfus, George Alexander, which is playing George. They all had their life. They're all almost retired, right? And it was beautiful because so what happened with and it's kind of the whole cast. That's the important part. You see this with Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld wasn't an actor. Jerry Seinfeld was a comic that was Jerry Seinfeld was a comic that wanted to capture popularity. So the cool thing about Seinfeld was Jerry Seinfeld was extremely popular. The show was extremely popular, and the show fed Jerry Seinfeld popularity. But Jerry Seinfeld popularity fed the show. It's the Jerry Seinfeld. I know him from real life. So Jerry Seinfeld wasn't playing a character, right? Now you got Kramer. Kramer start doing some comedy show. However, Kramer was a horror story. The real life of the actor is a horror story. So the dude was playing in Seinfeld, which was quote unquote one of the biggest series back then. Still to this day, Seinfeld is very very important in the culture. In Seinfeld, so he was playing this character. Like, I'm gonna become a comic too. The problem with Kramer was he didn't have a career before. Well, I'm not saying that he didn't have a career, but he didn't have a comedic career before Seinfeld. So he's like, yo, I'm playing with fucking Seinfeld. You're gonna put me in the biggest shows, the biggest venues, and people like, yeah, you're playing with Seinfeld. But nobody knows you for being Kramer. You're like the Kramer, the weird neighbor. So what he said was, "Fuck you. You're gonna put me in the venue. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do it." And people will say, "Well, don't do it." There was a lot of anger in there, and then he said some awful shit for the industry. So then he burned his career because of that. With Julia Louis Dreyfus. Julia Louis Dreyfus, and I'm trying not to be an asshole, but she's a woman. So a woman will be, it's going to be easier for her to get a role because she's attractive, she's funny, she's picture perfect. She's picture perfect. So you see, for dude are super simple. She's funny, she's cute, she's a top model. You look at the fucking show, and there's this episode with George Alexander who says that he's in love with Melissa Torme, And Melissa Torme, you look at her and you don't think that she's the most attractive person in the world. And again, it's nothing against Melissa Torme. I think she's fucking gorgeous. But Melissa Torme, you don't think that she's the most attractive person in the world. And then you see Melissa Torme in real life, and you look at the ensemble, like, yeah, she's cute and she's funny. What a fucking gem. And you realize at Melissa Torme, it's fucking amazing. And then you see her as Aunt Mary, what's her name? Ben Parker. I don't remember the aunt of Peter Parker. Aunt May. Yeah. Aunt May. Yeah, Aunt May. And she's amazing. She aged beautifully, you know? And so coming back to the story of Jerry Seinfeld. See, fuck. We're going into side tangents, crazy. This is how I feel right now, so fuck it. Then you have a character like, who's left? Jerry Seinfeld. We did her. Okay, so the last one is George Alexander. George Alexander had a as a dream of being an actor. One of his first big role was George, and the problem with George was after that people started typecasting George Costanza. They started typecasting George Alexander. So what is typecasting is, I can only see you in this type of role. So you look at a character as an actor like Jason Statham, right? Jason Statham, we say, oh, he doesn't have a wide variety as a fucking actor. No, it's because every single time that he has a script in his hand, they want him to be the fucking transporter. They want him to be the beekeeper. They want him to be the driver. You know, they want to be him. Or Crank, right? I think one of the best role of freaking Jason Statham was Crank, and Crank is a fucking comedy, right? And I think that was his best role. Which we have the DVD for, by the way, not to brag, but to brag a little bit. So yeah, it's an amazing movie. So with George, he was like, fuck, and all of this to say, what if people typecast me as Ink, right? And the truth is, I don't mind people seeing me as Ink. If you see me as Ink, it's a compliment. You recognize me. You recognize the people that I am. If you're thinking about me as Ink in a positive fashion, hallelujah. If you're thinking about Ink as a negative fashion, well, that's life. However, it comes to a point, and this is very scary, because we've been making content for 4 years, and Ink has gotten more applause. Ink has gotten more recognition. Ink has been getting more love and respect than Stefan ever did in 28 years, you know? So it's a bit scary about that. And, but then, all of this to say, why am I not making content? And then we're coming back to my parents. It's a bit scary, because you think about Slim Shady, and Slim Shady was amazing. Eminem, I'll talk about musically. Okay, cool. So musically speaking, see, Eminem had his daughter. So Eminem was a rapper before 8 Mile. Eminem was a rapper before Eminem became Eminem. Eminem was a rapper, right? And then he had a lot of success. He became the Eminem that we love. So we saw him in a lot of fucking things. And then he became really, really, really popular, right? And then his wife, she left him because he was never there. He was always on the road. And the worst thing that Kim ever did, which was Kim Marshall, which is the ex-wife of Eminem, she was going to say, hey, I'm going to take Ailey Jade with me. Now, the fun thing about Eminem is always called a bad father, because he has more than one daughter, and you're always seeing him being close to Ailey Jade. The daughter of Eminem's are adopted. It's I think one of them is his niece. It's not his real daughter, so of course you're gonna be closer to Ailey Jade, right? And he's a wonderful parents to Ailey Jade. And if you look at a podcast of Ailey Jade, Eminem had some demon. Eminem had some fucking demon. I personally think that Eminem is acoustic, you know. And he has some demon, and you're seeing Ailey Jade being so understanding of her father, and also for her father. And you realize that those two, they love each other more than anything, and they've always been there for each other, right? And you see this relationship, which is fucking amazing, right? So yeah, but then Eminem, when Kim, she threatened to take the daughter away, Eminem went crazy, and he created this character called Slim Shady. This character was a fucking murderer, right? So everything, and people love Slim Shady. So my name is Without Me, cleaning out my closet, Detroit City. A lot of the songs that he did that was super super popular were Slim Shady. And then he came back, and then situation got better, and then he said, I'm not mad anymore. I want to be back to Eminem." And then people, when he was back to Eminem, his album is just shut down. The success that he had really diminished, and people were like, "Yo, we want Slim Shady, we want Slim Shady." And Eminem tried to tell people like, "Yo, Slim Shady is me being very pissed. Slim Shady is me having those negative emotion, right?" They don't want Marshall Matter, which is him. They want a character they created. Now with Ink, it's a bit that, it's a bit of a fear, And I love being Ink. And ultimately speaking, it's weird because the Ink and Stefan is the same person. So I don't know why I'm having such a problem. But the problem that I have, and this is where I'm going to be looking extremely crazy. Bear with me. Last year I put forward Ink Vendetta a lot. It was Ink Vendetta, and Stefan really took a step back, right? And then it's kind of crazy because for 28 years I was Stefan. Then I started making content, I was still Stefan. When I started making content, it was a hobby. When I lost a job, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to find another job that I'm like that I love as much as I did. Then I had this conversation with Shao that completely changed my life. I'm like, dude, you didn't even like that job. You were talking about making videos every single day. You were obsessed with YouTube. And I'm like, holy shit. But when I started making YouTube, I didn't see it as a job, right? And then Shao said that, it's like, what if I've tried for real? And then the cataclysm of that was Shao, which one of them, I fucking love Shao, one of my best friend, right? And Shao was like, dude, you're obsessed with that. I was like, you think that could be a job? He said, well, if you try hard enough, you can. And him saying that in March when we fucking lose a job, I'm like, okay, well, let's fucking go. So last year is really when I created a character. Well, not a character because it's me and itself, but when I really became Ink Vendetta, right? And it's kind of like a duality. It's really hard for me to say it out loud, but I would never was a career based person. You know why? I've said it 1,000 times before. I said it in multiple videos before. But I never was a career person. So when I picture Ink Vendetta, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna put more effort into it. We're gonna embody Ink Vendetta. We're gonna become Ink Vendetta. And it's kind of funny because I made a mistake, and this is a bad mistake. This is something I regret deeply. I went to the no worry, the video's almost done. I went to the fact of I want to become Ink Vendetta, and Ink Vendetta is gonna become somebody that lives his dream. So Ink Vendetta needs to be the best version of myself, because if I become the best version of myself, then I'm gonna get the best result because I tried so hard. So I really pushed, and then at first it was Stefan, and then it was Ink Vendetta. Then last year it became like that. We traded places. Ink Vendetta was there, and Stefan was down there. And now in 2025, like, okay, well, I'm gonna do like that. I'm gonna do a balance of the both. But then it's not easy. It's not easy. See, I'm a child of divorce. That plays a lot of roles in that. For example, when I was having a hard time with my father's, I was at my mom's. When I was having a hard time with my mom's, I was my father. I would always escape. I never was. I never did. I never was in trouble with both of them. Then when I was in trouble with both of them, I was in the apartment already, so I was okay. I didn't. There's 3 years when I didn't talk to my father and my mom at the same time, right? And that was a hard 3 years, but there's 3 years when I didn't have parents, right? Um, oh, it lags. Okay, so with my father, it's really hard because he lives so close to me. My father was really hard because we live in the same neighborhood. We go to the same market. There's time where I'm literally not talking to my father, and we're gonna see each other at the fucking Maxi, and it's awkward. It's my father. It's not supposed to be awkward, right? So, all of this to say, um, with I got kind of used to last year getting a lot of likes and getting a lot of compliments and getting a lot of people saying, "Hey, I love what you do. I love your videos," and it's always such a pleasure to me. But then you become you look for a balance between your life and your social life, right? In your social life, you get everything that you ever wanted and more, and then your normal life, you don't get shit. So just like your mom and your dad, when you have a problem with both of them, or when you have a problem with one of them, go to the others, right? So I had a problem. The problem is I cannot always escape to being Vendetta, because imagine you create this character, or imagine you're in a sitcom and you play these characters, right? And this character is based on your real life, but you're playing this character, and you're in a sitcom and you play the character, and then you get out of you get out of the scene, you get out of the job, and you're enjoying coffee, and then you realize that you're not the person that you are. You're the person that you're playing, which is crazy because this doesn't make any sense. But then again, so it is dissociation, right? It's a dissociation, which is insane. So this year, and now we're getting into the final subject, which is I'm not making videos. This year it's been really really hard. This 2025 has been really really hard. I've been meeting a lot of disappointment, but a lot of greatness. The channels are picking up. We are working so freaking hard in the behind the scene, and it's amazing. And 2025 is a year where I'm more enjoying what I have. I never really finished with the food, right? I talk about food. Just to finish with the food, let me be really quick. With the food, what happened was I was given the choice of being to be to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and then I became obese. And the reality of when I lost the weight in the first period of time was because I realized that I wasn't really enjoying the food. I was eating fucking junk food just to eat junk food, not to enjoy it. Now with the content, I was filming content just to film content, not to really enjoy it. The hardest thing, and I said that before, that I did was I remember one morning, and that was a really tough morning for me. Um, During the summer, every single morning I would go somewhere to see the sunrise. And I don't remember why, but I remember that my phone didn't charge. My phone was at 15%. And I went to a place where there was a beautiful sunrise. Then I look at my phone and it's at fucking 4%. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to film. And I'm seeing the sunrise in front of me and it's beautiful. I'm like, fuck it, let's take a little break, right? And I wasn't able to enjoy the sunrise without filming it. Then I questioned myself, was I really enjoying the sunrise or not? You see? Now this year I wanted to slow down a little bit because I want my video that I already filmed to perform. I'm not giving them chance to grow. I have 27,000 kids. Some of them are going to school, some of them are not going to school. You know? Instead of making more kids, I'd have to take care of the kids that I have already. Right? Which is the video that I have already, which is 27,000 on the main channel and 6,000 something on the gaming channel. Main channel was at 28, I think. Yeah, 28. So then what happened is, 2025, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus more on myself. I'm going to be losing the weight and I'm going to be finding a job, because I honestly thought, and I was kind of hoping, that 2024, the whole year of making content, would be enough for me to be able to make this a job. It wasn't enough, which is okay. So 2025, I'm going in. I'm like, okay, well, if I need to do another job in between, I don't care. Now I have a purpose. I have a goal. You see, I'm seeing people that have shitty jobs and they don't like their job, and I'm like, why are you working this place that you don't like? Well, I gotta feed my kids. Like, oh yeah, that's a good reason, you know. So if I gotta feed my kids, if I gotta feed my dream with a job that I don't like, then I'm willing to do it. I don't mind. Oh, so yeah, so that was tough. 2025. A couple of things that I really didn't happen. That really, really didn't please me. We started with the year in a beautiful way, but then I realized that I was kind of looking for love, and then we found a girl, and that girl was the girl was demanding, but she wasn't demanding. She was asking me to be more normal, more like a 9 to 5. I was like, fuck you. I'm gonna live my dream. And then she was like, you talk to a lot of girls. I don't like that. And then I was like, yeah, but those girls, I don't have romantic intention. See, it was weird because she was on Tinder looking for dudes with the intention of getting romantic. and I was chilling with people that I already know that I knew there was gonna be nothing. Like for example, we mentioned V before. V as a boyfriend. We mentioned Jordan. Jordan as a boyfriend. You know, those are girls that I don't romanticize. Chelsea as a boyfriend. Gothic as a boyfriend. Those are people that I don't think, oh fuck, I'm gonna get them in my bed, right? But then her asking me not to talk to other people, was it normal? Yes, it was. Her asking me to pay attention to her was normal. Her asking me not to film a lot was normal. And the weirdest thing about that was she told me, hey, I start at this time, I finish at this time. If you want to film at that time. I'm working 8 hours. And weirdly speaking, 8 hours was not enough for me. It wasn't enough for me to film. Was that normal? It wasn't normal. So the relationship didn't work, right? And then at the end, the relationship was becoming toxic. Um, but that was because I feel like from what she said, she felt like she made a lot of concession to me, and I didn't make concession to her. But then I when I look at what I asked her, I didn't ask her that much, and she was asking me a lot. You know, it's like, yeah, I didn't make a lot of concession to you, but you asked a lot. So, for example, if you asked me 10, and I did 5 of them, that's not a lot. That's half. But I still did five for you. Compared to a person that asked me five and I do 4 of them, I did more, yes, but you asked me a lot, right? And then she said, yeah, but I did what you asked me, and I couldn't even remember me asking her to do something, right? I'm like, fuck. And I guess it didn't work. Um, we've been posting CVs a lot, and then they look at me. I think it's because I'm fat, but I've been losing a lot of opportunity, and there's even a proof of that. So and again, this is more Stefan than Ingvendela. I've had this. I've been posting CVs, and I had 4 interviews. 3 of them I had on the phone, and then they said, okay, well, you start at this time, and they see me like, oh no, and they say that they find an excuse to fire me, but it's the fact that I'm looking for a physical job because they're paying more, and I don't have academics. I'm smart, but not school smart. So yeah, so it's not a disappointment. And now you see what we're trying to talk about. Um, for friends, I've lost a lot of friends last year because the balance, the idea of balance was what? The idea of balance was friend, love, money, success, right? Now, the friends, I lost a lot of friends because last year I didn't pay attention to no one except for content, so I understand that. So the people that I do have left, they don't really understand what I went through, which is okay. Um, Money, I don't have it. Well, I'm on call, but it's not really a job, right? Um, then my family, we had a big problem. My mom, for the first time last week, she told me, I don't think that the videos are gonna work. And my mom, I love her. I do love her, but she was kind of the only one that I knew personally, the only one that I knew in real life that didn't tell me it's not gonna work. Everybody else that knew that I was. Fun fact: people don't know that I'm Ingo Vendetta. I don't brag about it. I'm not gonna say hey, in my personal life, right? The people that know that I'm filming stuff and I'm putting on YouTube. No, my mom was the last person that I knew personally that believed in me. The last person. And again, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her. She tried to protect me, but last week she was the last one that believed in me, or believed in me since day one. And then she told me you should get a job. Um, it hurts. My father last weekend I talked about that, but I'm going to talk about it again. My father and we had this very specific relationship because he was living closer. I would see him every single week. I grew up hating my father because he was strict. My mom was a fucking angel. My mom, you want something? Okay, you get it. You want to eat junk food? Okay, you get it. Then my mom, short term was amazing. My father, long term was amazing. My father being so strict made me the man I am today, the man of virtue, of hardship, right? And I work so hard for what I have thanks to my father. My father taught me a lot of things, right? Long term. You taught me to be an adult. My mom cherished the kid. My father cherished the adult. Me and my father, we were not friends. I fucking hated that guy because he was strict. He was beating me up, not to a point where I was bruised, but still corporal punishing. And when I got into an apartment, the relationship really changed. He became nicer. When I started working, we became nicer because we had something to talk about. We had nothing in common. I didn't have a thing that I liked that my father liked. He didn't have one thing that he liked that I liked. But work was something we could talk about, right? For the first time in my life, he was showing interest. He was showing interest in what I was doing, which was working. Didn't show interest in school. In school, it was weird. He didn't show interest. He was like, "Hey, are you failing or you're passing?" If I say you're failing, oh, you better work hard. If I'm passing, okay, everything is good. We didn't really care. On work, he cared, right? And then for him to say something like, "When you left, it really hurt my feelings how you treated us," which was 12 years ago. And the factor that he said, and it was 12, I left the house 12 years ago, and he's still angry about it. He's still resentful towards that. Still resentful, and I've been making a lot of effort towards being a better person, a better Steph. And I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's ever going to be enough. With my father, when I ask him, "When are you going to forgive me?" He say, "I'll never forgive you." And I'm like, fuck, What's the point of trying? And with my mom, who supports me for making videos, but will never see me something else than her son, which is normal. She's a mom, but then again, doesn't. I have a hard time believing in it anymore. Kind of losing hope, So I'm trying to be the best person I can be, which is Steph. Trying to be the best version of Steph I can be, right? Be the good person, the good son, the good friend, the good older brother for a lot of you guys. Trying to be a better version, a more positive version, a fun person to be around. See, my whole life, I didn't care how many friends I had. I was always on my own and happy to be on my own, but now I'm working towards being surrounded with people that can rely on me, right? Because that's a good thing to do. As I grew up, I rely on other people, but I never be the reliable one. So I was like, okay, well, give me. You want something? Fuck you. It's not cool, So I'm working on that. And with my father, it's hard because he was my role model, really a role model, and my best friend. My father was my best friend, yeah. So for him to say that, I'm like, fuck. It's hard to hear. It's really, really hard to hear, So you don't know what to do. But, yeah. I don't know what to do. There's a reason I've been feeling a lot of pressure on the personal life of thing. I've been feeling a lot of hardship on the personal side of things. And, I'm working hard on it, but it's not going to be automatic. And I feel like I need to work on Steph. I need to see when I'm ink, when I film video, it's just Steph being obnoxious and loud. When I'm ink, I don't think about being Steph. So ink is dependent on Steph, but Steph isn't depending on ink. If ink succeed or fell, I'm still the same person. If I'm a better person, ink is better. If I'm a worse person, ink is worse, So it's really hard. And then I'm wondering, what am I? Who am I? And I know who I am. It's an easy question. But who I am? Who am I? If I was given the choice to present myself as ink, would I do it? The complete stranger. There's somebody, about a week ago, I went outside and I was filming. And somebody went out of their car and said, "Hey, are you a vlogger?" And I didn't even have the time to answer. It's like, wow, that's so cool. I respect that. I was like, I'm not making a penny, dude. I cannot live out of that. I'm living out of saving right now. Was that enough? And it's a hard thing because I was talking about like people like Seinfeld. They play characters. I'm not playing characters. I'm being myself. So if I'm not enough as myself, then I have to be somebody else, and I don't want to be somebody else. Be myself should be enough. But what if it's not enough? Yeah, it's complicated. It's a tough pill to swallow. That's why I haven't made content lately. Anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.